Hello again. I had an email the other day from a young fellow who is 22, and he asked me what I would say British values in an old-fashioned sense are. It was an interesting point because, of course, we all know that the government has a suite of British values that have been dreamed up by sociologists and that they push officially, teaching them to people who wish to become British citizens. I give a link to these values in the description to this video. The New University of Buckinghamshire publishes them. They seemingly include respect and tolerance, which means understanding that we all don't share the same beliefs and values. Respecting the values, ideas and beliefs of others while not imposing our own upon others. And they give us examples: embracing diversity, the importance of religion, traditions, cultural heritage and preferences, stereotyping, label and prejudice, and tackling discrimination. This is, of course, all very laudable, but they are hardly genuine British values. They're something that's been dreamed up in the last few years. Had you asked somebody in this country 30 years ago if they were embracing diversity, they would not have had the remotest idea what you were talking about. Nor, traditionally, have the British been in favour of understanding that we don't all share the same beliefs and values. That's a very modern idea, and it's the core of multiculturalism, the idea being that we should all be entitled to hold different beliefs and values. In Britain, we all used to hold one set of beliefs and one lot of values, and these had grown naturally over the years and were held by common consent and regarded pretty well universally as sound. There was a British value then of believing implicitly that our own religion and beliefs were better than those of any foreigners. What other kinds of values did we have once? Well, modesty is one, a very British value. Nobody liked show-offs or people who boasted. We thought it a far finer thing to do things privately, to do good privately, and do our best without blowing our own trumpet about it. These days, that particular value appears to have gone right out of the window, and it's the people who shout the most who we listen to, the ones that are always boasting and going on about wonderful things they're doing. Then there was minding our own business and not being too ready to poke our noses into other people's affairs. That was a particularly important British value. This too has rather fallen from fashion in recent years, in a society where we are all supposed to be ready to denounce our neighbours and inform upon them to the authorities, whether for breaking the COVID regulations or because we suspect them of a hate crime. There is too patience and a fixed determination not to push to the front of a queue. That's a British value that you don't see as much as once you did either. There was also an absolute imperative that men should protect women and children and ensure that no harm befell them. The phrase during a shipwreck of women and children first was a real thing. Some viewers might remember the Birkenhead drill. Love of our country, being prepared to fight to the death for it. That was a British value for a long, long time, at least until the 50s or 60s. But I've an idea that too has gone by the board these days. These things that I've mentioned are all real British values which anybody over a certain age will recognise immediately. I can't see our government endorsing them, though, in the way that they do all this business about embracing diversity. In other words, I don't think that the government would be really keen on people holding to genuine British values.